Welcome to Promote Profit Publish. I'm your host, Juliet Clark. And before we get started today, I want to remind you to go over to perfectreaderplaybook.com, grab your free 3-module course over there for the Perfect Reader Playbook, and really drill down on who you're writing your books for. And also, it's an intro to our layered process of marketing that'll help you sell more books, products, and services. So again, go over and grab that free course. It's at perfectreaderplaybook.com. Our guest today is actually, she's one of my competitors, but we do a lot of business together. It's Hybrid Global Publishing's Karen Strauss. Karen has held various positions in the publishing industry for over 35 years. She's worked at Random House, Macmillan, Crown, and Avon in sales, marketing, and publicity. And she's worked with celebrities such as President Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Stewart, Martha Stewart, George F. Will, and Og Mandino. In 2010, Karen founded Hybrid Global Publishing, a firm that works with entrepreneurs and speakers and coaches to help them write, publish, distribute, and promote their books in order to generate unlimited leads, get on more speaking stages, and grow the business by attracting more clients. Karen has helped over 1,000 business owners become successful published authors and has helped 700 authors reach the #1 bestseller status. And you probably notice, if you know much about what I do, that we started our businesses about the same time coming out of the publishing industry. And that's what I love about her is we both had this vision where we saw there was a different way to do this than the publishing houses we were working at. So stay tuned for an interview with Karen and I. Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Juliet. It's so great to be here.
I know I'm really envious. I have to mention I'm envious of your orchid in the corner because mine died, so I just have fake ones in the house now.
I think that's the way to go. It's much easier.
Yeah, yes, it is. The only place I can keep mine alive are in the shower. So
Oh, how
with all
funny.
that with all the steam, I used to put them around the bathtub so that they got lots of steam. So I'm jealous, but you probably have lots of humidity in New York. So
We
it's
do.
yeah.
And
So
it's bad for hair, but good for flora and
I
fauna.
know. I love it when I go to Florida because everybody walks up and they'll touch my hair and they'll go, "Oh, you have the best beach waves." And it's like, yeah, I don't really mean for that to be wavy. so, so I was noticing when I read your bio, we started our own companies the same year,
We did?
2010, and I
Yeah.
was looking at your back where you had been, and I actually was at Price Stern Sloan, which I think is owned by Random House now, and HP Books. And then I moved on from there into advertising, but kind of interesting. I thought it was interesting because being on the inside of companies like that, and with the industry changing, I would imagine that you saw a different way to do this. That's what happened with me. Could you talk a little bit about that?
You mean back then I saw a different way?
Yeah,
Yeah,
back then you saw a different way to do that.
I did. Publishing is as old as the hills. And one of my, who's the owner of a major chain in Texas. And, at that time, it was a very big account for us and all of that. And he said to me, Karen, traditional publishers are the marketing geniuses of the 19th century. And they still are. And that's not good, right?
Hmm.
So everything was stagnant. We had to do things a certain way. And I was a big mouth and I was a creative and I was not well suited, let me put it that way, for a bureaucratic company. And you know what's sad is publishing is supposed to be creative. You're supposed to be, you know,
Hmm.
arguing with each other and, throwing out ideas and not judging them and brainstorming. And none of that really happened. I mean, my boss at one of the companies I work for said, you're new here and you work for this X company, and so we don't really want to hear from you for 6 months.
Really?
Really,
Wow.
really, really. And so it was crazy back then. And so I knew that I would not be happy. And I would see that there are different ways to do things. Um,
Hmm.
Hybrid publishing, when I was coming up, was just kind of beginning to
Yeah.
form. There were a couple of, right? You remember, there were maybe a few, but there certainly weren't, they weren't prolific like where they are now. So yes, I knew that I was destined to start my own company, even, you know, probably when I was excited to get into publishing and then certainly to work for such prestigious companies as Random House and Crown, and Macmillan, I worked for the best, I thought. And I thought to myself, wow, if this is the best, there must be other ways to serve people because we're just serving the people that we know can get on bestseller lists, not really people who could use help in terms of creating this marketing plan and creating, a way to get it out there and get your message heard.
No, that was a lot. And I think self-publishing really opened my eyes because I used with my first book, I used a self-publisher. I'm not going to say who it was because they were really awful. But I think that really opened my eyes because I thought at the time, why are these people taking part of my profits? I paid them to publish my book. And that's where I started to see, and I was looking at what they were selling people as marketing, like these canned websites that you couldn't modify and these horrendous hosting fees. Like this site cost $300 a year and you couldn't modify it, and
Oh,
bookmarks and things like that. So I started
never
seeing these
bookmark.
things. I was like, this is not how we did things in traditional publishing. And I think what was worse with that, Karen, and you probably saw it too, is that I noticed that the traditional publishers were really kind of dissing the self-published authors. But at the same time, they were opening self-publishing companies as
Yes.
subsidiaries and basically taking money. And it was to me, it was like, what are you people doing? And I think they were doing it in hopes that self-publishing would fail. And I think they failed miserably in thinking that would happen at the
Well,
time.
I think it was so disingenuous, that they would do self-publishing and of course hybrid as well, that they lumped us all in together, with vanity publishers, so on and so forth. And then what they did was even worse than just say, "Hey, I'm Simon and Schuster," or "I'm Hay House," or "I'm this," and we have a division for self-publishers. They actually hid that fact, and they went to various a company like iUniverse, and they
Mhm.
had them do the back end, and then they named it something else, and you had to do some research to figure out actually that it was connected to
Yeah.
Simon or to Hay House or, whomever. But, Hay House would say, and they would hold out this carrot that say, first of all, there was a firewall between, I forgot the name of Hay House's name, the self-publishing name, and them and Hay House. But then in the next breath, they would say, but we are monitoring the books that come out of there. And if you sell, if you're selling books, we're watching you, and there's a possibility to jump.
Yes. Yes, I think they misled a lot of people with that. And I worked with a company a couple years ago that actually used to tell their clients that if you publish with our self-publishing and you sell 50,000 copies, we'll traditionally publish you. And I would tell all of those authors that told me that, like, if you're selling 50,000 books, self-publishing, you don't need them.
You don't
Like,
need them. That's right.
I mean, I just thought it was a really wild thing. And by the way, I think Hay House still does a little bit of that. I just took on a client 2 months ago that they do these big contests and they say, one or two of you are going to win a publishing package. And then I told her in advance, she said, I find out this Friday. I'll let you know. And I said, I can guarantee you, you will not win it, but they will direct you over to their self publishing. And she came back to me the following Monday and she's like, I just had to show you this email. You were right. So
He won, but they
no, she didn't win, but they got everybody to join this contest and they promised that prize. And for all of those people who didn't win, it was new self-publishing business, or so they
Got
thought.
it. Got it.
So I
Okay,
just
so
thought, yeah,
lead generation for new. Oh, wow.
exactly, exactly.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, how could I do that? Which I can't, but it's nice to have that big name and be able
Well,
to
we
do
could.
that.
Well, we could. Unfortunately, we could,
Hmm.
because we both have reputations. We may not well be, wow, you'll be published by Random House or Simon Schuster or whomever. But if we said we're gonna take you on a scholarship, right? We're gonna
Yeah.
pay for everything. It's a $25 entry fee,
Hmm.
right? And then we would get
Yeah.
hundreds of people because, they want to be traditionally published because they think they don't have the money or they think it's somehow lesser than. So,
Yeah. It's
and it just makes
interesting.
me so mad that people who are not versed in publishing and publishing lingo and what is marketing, what does that really mean? Editorial, what does that really mean? Get taken advantage of all the time. And that's one of the reasons I started my company,
Hmm.
that I was seeing what was out there, particularly at the beginning of when hybrid publishing was really a pioneer zone.
Yes.
And people would lay out a shingle and they would just say, well, we're going to charge $25,000 and you get X, Y, you get a, you get a copy edit polishing. What does that mean? A copy edit polishing. You get 20 bookmarks. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. And people still come to me to this day and they'll say, well, how many free books do I get with that? And I'm like, none. Like, wow, we don't really do that anymore. But yeah, they had all these perks that people were like, wow, I get 25 free books. Well, that book probably, if I guaranteed it, probably cost me $2 a piece. So did you really get a perk? I mean, I may charge you more on the back end to order those books, but for me, I'm getting them wholesale. So there were a lot of gimmicks, but I think it's a testament to both of us that, I have seen over the years people come in and they're like, I'm a publisher. And, a year later, they're out of business. So we stood the test of time probably because we came from that industry.
I think so. I think that's a lot of big reason why many people decide to work with me because my pedigree is in traditional publishing. And that's
Hmm.
how I set up Hybrid Global. And the author journey is just like it would be if you were publishing with Random House and Macmillan and Crown. And I only have people that work with me, editorial people and typesetters and, proofreaders that have worked at traditional book companies. So they know what it's like. It's incredible to me that people don't even understand, not the new authors, they don't need to, but when a proofreader comes to me and said, I'd like to work for your company, and I'll go, great. Do you proofread over the Word document or do you proofread over the PDF? And they go, oh, just the Word document. Well, that's not proofreading. That
Exactly.
clearly is not proofreading, right? Proofreading is to look at the design of it and make sure you don't miss words, also to pick up the straggling editorial, the grammar, but it's kind of like, it's just a test. I would never hire a person like that. And it's kind of like, there's so many people out there that are just hanging up shingles. And well, I was really good in high school and everybody's saying I was good in grammar and I have this cousin.
I know they do that a lot. And what's funny is I know you develop books and you're going to be part of our book development panel in June. But we work a little bit differently. You have to bring us the edited manuscript, and our editor that we send people to actually stays with you all through that. But what people don't understand is through that formatting process, your eyes are so tired and your brain is replacing things on that formatted document that you think are there and they're not. So I love that you have a proofreader and our editor stays with you through that, because that's truly the point where I know everybody's super excited about their book, but every time I get to that point, I'm sick of my book. I mean, I can't even go out and promote
I
it. I'm
got
so
it.
sick.
Yeah, right.
And people don't get that at all. So you have we do things a little bit differently. Talk about your process because you are truly a company that takes people from I don't have a book, I just have an idea, all the way through publishing. So talk about that a little bit because that's one place where I feel I'm weak. I have no business being a book developer.
Huh, that's not true, but um, we do take you from soup to nuts. That's why I do my 2 and 3 day events to help people, discover their big idea. But we set you up with a developmental editor. Ghostwriters can be very expensive. They'll add
Yeah.
40, 50, $60,000 to a project, and most people don't need it. Most people, what they need is a developmental editor who's going to take you, like interview you, getting all your content together, and helping you structure the book, right? And still helps you with the arc and the flow and all of that. And so, but you're writing the book. That's the difference. A ghostwriter will write your book, interview you, and write the book. Here, you're writing your book in your own voice, which is what we want you to do because we want your authenticity. And you have your unique story to tell. And so I know you asked me to do the process. So, but I just wanted to say about that, people are scared writing a book or finishing their book because they think they should be writerly, right? There's some mystery to it. But no, we want you to speak in your own slang, in your own flow, and tell your story that only you can tell. And that's what makes you unique.
Uh,
So after the developmental, and that's what the developmental editor helps you with in terms of really making it stand out in your voice. And then we send it to copy editing with spelling and grammar. And we work with you on everything is collaboration, by the way. We're a partnership publisher. So you own the rights, you own 100% of your intellectual property. We started having our authors set up their own KDP accounts, but mostly for the ebook.
yes,
And that's the way,
we do the same.
yeah. So you can change the data very fast if you're doing an Amazon bestseller campaign or review campaign,
Mhm.
so on and so forth. And 100% of those royalties are yours. Then we also use Ingram Spark, and for distribution, we don't have sales reps that go out to bookstores. There's reasons for that. And so I like print on demand because Barnes and Noble, any library, any wholesaler, any independent bookseller will order books from Ingram. Ingram prints it and then
Mhm.
sells it to the stores. And if you set it up correctly, the stores can return the book just like they can if they order direct from Random House. So, like that. And we are able to get our people into Barnes and Noble, their local stores. We're able to get them to buy the book, to do book signings. And that's really all you need. And then some independent stores in your local, if it takes off, great. So that's what we have for distribution. Of course, we do the ebook, we do the print book, and that could be a paperback and a hardcover if that's what you want. We don't charge extra for the different formats. And then the proofreading, the typesetting, the cover design, which I think is your most important marketing tool.
Right.
And so we have some fabulous cover designers that we work with on a regular basis. Depending on what your topic, your genre is, we'll assign you a cover designer. I meet with you and the cover designer because I want to first of all, I love to do that and I want to be part of it. And so we'll work with you and the cover early in the game because we
Okay.
want you to have something to go out and sell with early and to make it real.
Right.
So that's the reason why as soon as you have a title and subtitle, we're off and running with designing the cover. And then we meet with you once a month to make sure we're catching up on the timeline. You have a project manager assigned to you to make sure that everything flows on time. We meet with you once a month on Zoom, more if we need to, particularly if we're getting into a marketing campaign. And then we have several marketing meetings with you as well, so we have a package that includes all of that, all of the editorial, the design of the book, the cover and the interior, ebook, the distribution, all of our meetings, the marketing execution strategy, which is very important, we'll develop with you. But the marketing itself, if you want to do a bestseller campaign, you've got something that a lot of our authors have been very happy with, the author promocast and other things that, we're working with you on. And then we work with a video guy. Um
Oh,
yeah. So
I didn't know this.
he'll do like a package if you want like 10 videos, 10 short videos to put on YouTube or social media or whatever, he'll do that for you. He'll write you a sell sheet. He'll do some copy even for you. But anything that you need, we have graphic designers who will also do social media posts, particularly if you're doing a bestseller campaign, right? So we have a lot of different ways we can help you in terms of getting your message out there. Obviously, radio shows and podcasts and getting on speaking stages. So we go from big idea to you making profit and promotion.
Yes. Yes, that is. And I know we use our mutual friend for those podcast bookings. She does a great job on
Yes.
those. I want to mention the promocast for a minute because I want you guys to understand a little bit about what she does. There is a book arc. When you go into pre-sale, you sell, 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 sell. It releases your bestseller, and then probably a week or two into it, you get a massive, like it just goes. Sorry, my tongue just went off it. Gets a massive, starts going down. So that's where we pick up with Karen's clients is after that bestseller campaign. And then on that way down, that's where we start with the promotion. And you can see too, we basically have the same company, but we work together on projects as well, which I love that about all my partners because we're all in the same business, but we're very collaborative, picking up different
Right.
pieces.
Right.
So
You're very
I think that
complimentary. Yeah, it's great.
yeah, we all have complementary products that we can work with. And I can send people to Karen for book development as well because I don't, like I said, I don't like it. I don't do it. I ghost wrote a book once and I thought it was awful because you're trying to, you have your own voice and you're trying to do somebody
Yeah,
else's.
in somebody
And the
else's
person,
voice.
the person who contracted me for it just kind of said, I want a beauty book, but she didn't help with it. She didn't tell me like I have these principles I want and I have this that I do. She just kind of go do your research and it's like, I don't know. I thought it came out like a commercial.
Will they? Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you have an event coming up and I want you to talk about it because this is the part where don't try to do this on your own. I mean, I think I've seen some of the worst books when someone says, I want to write a book, and then they start writing it on their own, and it's not structured correctly. They don't think about the marketing, they don't think long term. So, talk about your event because I feel like your event covers your new 3-day event covers everything that they're going to need.
It does. It's called Publishing the Event, a 3-day experience that goes from your big idea to bestseller to profit. That's a mouthful. And it's on May 19th, 20th, and 21st. And I'm really, really excited about it because it follows the author journey. It's the way you think about it, right? Like discovering your big idea. And this is not just going to be talking heads with PowerPoints and speakers and then teaching. And, we'll have some of that, of course, but it's experiential. And that's what I love. We're going to take you through all of these different exercises and you're going to actually discover your big idea and we're going to do book mapping. And so where you're actually not only, if you come with the idea that you want to write a book, that's great. Sometimes people in the past have said, you know what? I just discovered a different idea that I want to do now. Sometimes they say, I want to continue with the book that I'm writing, but I discovered now I can write 10 other books through this exercise. So everybody discovers something different in this exercise. And then writing, once you decide what book, you're writing your outline to the book, you're writing your talking points, where the stories, are going, because we have our big philosophy is books are about storytelling. People will not really remember what you have to say, but they're going to remember how they felt when you said it.
Mhm.
And in a book, it's the stories that really make them feel close to you. They
Mhm.
resonate with you. And if they do resonate with you, they're going to want to keep in touch with you and become
Yeah.
what I call one of your evangelical fans. So that's the reason for it. So you're going to write all that. You're going to come pretty far, with that book. And then we're actually going to have a speaker's night. And this is usually like the best part of the night of the event, where we're going to have my friends and colleagues who are experienced. Some are literary agents, some are speakers themselves, some teach about speaking, publicists, so on and so forth, have been on my panels, and they all know people. So we'll have speakers. If we have 60 people on, obviously everybody can't speak.
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, some people will get the opportunity to actually do a 2-minute pitch on their book
Um,
and get invaluable feedback. So for the others, maybe we'll have you record your 2-minute and then we can get you feedback afterwards. So
mhm.
we'll figure out something so that people can really participate. So I'm excited about that. And then, and the second day goes more into what is publishing, right? How should I publish? Because one of the mindset things is a lot of people might write their book, and then after the book is written, they're going to go, oh, well, how should I publish? Do I want an
Yeah.
agent? Right? You see that too, right? And
Yes.
I have a book, Juliet, and I'm not sure if I'm going to self-publish it. I heard about this hybrid thing, but I'm not sure what it is. No, you should decide now while you're writing the book, at
Yeah.
least do some research. And I'm going to do a lot of teaching on the pros and cons of traditional, hybrid, and self. We're going to do a lot about, we're going to talk to you about what a launch plan looks like. What does a
Mhm.
6-month launch plan look like? And a lot of people don't even know what you need to do 3 months in advance
Right.
of a book. Most people, oh, I'm going to put it on Amazon and people will come.
No,
That's the pitch. No.
no.
Right. So we talk about that. And then the third day is really marketing. It really is very strict. Do you need an audiobook? Do I need a bestseller campaign? Getting on radio shows and getting on podcasts, all the things you have to offer. How do I market myself so I'm visible? If you're a business person, how do I not become the best kept secret in my niche?
Yes.
Right? I don't wanna be best kept secret in my niche anymore. I wanna get out there and fly. And that's what we're gonna teach you. If you're writing memoir or legacy, come one, come all, because that too is really important. It's a little bit different in terms of
Right.
marketing, but we've got you. We've got fiction as well. We love historical fiction, we love contemporary fiction, all of that. So it's really for I would say adult writers, people who want to write a book or have not really finished the book.
Mhm.
We'll certainly have ideas for you if you've got a finished manuscript, but you're open maybe to some kind of editing of it.
Mhm. You know what I love about this too is, and you probably see the same thing. I would say 90% of the authors who come to me are underfunded. And they're underfunded because they didn't attend something like this and find out, what does that cost for self? What am I going to have to pay for editing? What am I going to have to pay to build that author platform? That's the biggest one I see. What am I going to have to pay for book marketing? So you really get an idea what this is going to cost overall. And, it can get pricey. And the thing about the pricey is if you don't build that author platform, you're probably not going to have the resources if you're a nonfiction, because that's a business builder as well. So you're going to get a really good idea what this costs, because I think a lot of people suffer from that underfunding
You will, and
everything.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we're going to do a whole session on financial planning.
Oh,
What
nice.
on if you're And this will apply for hybrid self-publishing, whatever, however you want to publish. This presentation will apply. Just learning what the costs of editing could be and the work involved.
That's fantastic. So, you guys, the event, again, it's May 19th, 20th, 21st. I'm going to be putting the link into the show notes. And Karen has a code for you that will get you the event for $1. So, what is that code? I know we don't have the URL right now. I'll put that down in the show notes, but what is that code to grab the $1 for the event?
VIP1.
It's VIP. V is in Victor.
V is
Because
in
earlier
Victor.
when I was listening, I'm obviously deaf. I thought it was VIP. I was like, why would you choose dip? So it's V as in Victor, IP1. And
Yeah.
then definitely sign up for the event, get yourself started, and find out what this really takes. Because I know for many people, you're an expert in your field, you understand the language. This is a whole different ballgame. We have a whole different language, that the cost, like we talked about, the underfunded. Find out what it's really going to take to get that book out there. And I also wanted to mention the storytelling she mentioned is really incredible. I believe last year, all of the people you sent me for listicles and promocast, when they bought them together, I gave them, excuse me, an interview on my podcast. And I read their books prior. And I remember Tracy Doyle's book.
Oh,
I started
amazing,
getting
right?
into it, and the life storms and the storytelling. I literally was like, wow, if I thought I had a bad childhood, it was nothing compared to
And
this
this was
lady.
a business book, right? So
Yeah,
that
it's a
yeah.
business book for her Aurora method. And I was really impressed. And I have to tell you, before I read it, I thought, oh God, not another trauma book. So
Exactly.
the storytelling really set it apart from, oh gosh, not another trauma book, to wow, this is interesting. And the way she came up with this. So that storytelling that you get from this book development is really important.
And
Uh,
can I mention one thing for this just happened for Tracy? She got chosen to put her book into the grab bag, the swag
yes,
bag.
for the
You see it?
Academy Awards. I
For the
know.
Academy
I,
Awards, exactly.
she told me that because she was asking if I had promo, and she had just missed the wait a minute, what are the awards that are in January? Not the Grammys. It's
The
the other
Grammy? No, the
Golden Globes. I had
Golden Globe.
clients, yeah. We sell the Golden Globe package every year, and I had clients that went for that. So
Uh,
Tracy was really excited about it. And I just missed her. She was just out in Park City for something, and I couldn't meet with her. It would have been lovely to meet her in person. So you guys grab the event. Karen, if they don't grab the link, is there an email or is there a place they can contact you to get directions?
yes, they can go to my website, hybridglobalpublishing.com,
Okay.
and they can contact me at Karen at hybridglobalpublishing.com.
Okay, great. I'll put those in the show notes as well.
Thank
Karen,
you.
thank you so much. And
Yeah.
I will see you at the event.
Yes.